Welcome one, welcome all to my series here where I'm going to be running through every single Guild Wars 1 mission in order and showing you how to complete them for the sake of your legendary protectors, your legendary guardians, whatever you're going through. So, first up on me, my name is Hawk. In terms of my experience in this game, I am currently at only 27 titles for my 30 for Guam, but it's all through the hard mode. So I've got my Kartos, got my Protectors, got my Vanquishers. Pretty much, I just need to get these 3 consumable titles wrapped up, and then I've got my Guam. So shouldn't be too long for me now, since I've got enough cash stacked up to get 10k on one of these 2. So whichever other one hits first, I've got it. In terms of content I have completed everything in this game except for Malix, Doom, and the entirety of Urgaz's Warren. The latter because I am wholly uninterested in it. The first 2 because I only just recently hit Malix, and I have done all of the Underworld quests in different runs. I have not strung them all completely together in one run yet. Other than that, I have done everything, including in hard mode. So this series, like I said, it's going to be focused on how you're going to get your Guardian titles, how I kind of get these done, including comps and things like that, strategies. And to keep these early ones, like Great Northern Wall, more interesting, the Young Heroes and Tyria ones I am going to be doing in hard mode, because otherwise this would just be boring me running through and getting all of these for free. This will include all of the bonuses and all of that stuff, and as I kind of alluded to, I am very much Luxon. Like, while I haven't capped my title here, I'm only at 4.6 mil. My Kurzik one's not so impressive, so I will be roasting Kurziks. No apologies in advance to Kurzik people. Alright, so in terms of the build that I run here, I'm running a 7-weapon stance Conjure build on my warrior. It's very high single target damage, but is also very vulnerable to enchantment removal, stance removals, so while its damage is absolutely crazy, like on the borderline of together as one daggers, it's not always the best. However, it gives me a good excuse to run my icy and fiery dragon swords, so I like it. So this is proof you don't necessarily need to run the best builds out there. I don't need to be running like Enduring Axe, even though I do have the build there. I just need to run what I have here. In terms of the heroes I'm bringing along, currently I've got, yes, I know Zei Ri, it's hard mode wins a change, not everyone's going to have him, but his main role is cast Signet of Spirits for me, and then heals. You can get a Necro to do that, you can get a Monk to do that, it doesn't have to be Zei Ri. I just do that because I like having him on my team. I have Xandra as a standard Soul Twist. She's got Strength of Honor to buff me. If you're a caster, you obviously don't need that. And then Livia is a standard BIP Resto. I've got my... Make sure you've got your agent title before you go into Great Northern Wall. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Alright, so... Great Northern Wall, pretty simple mission. Most people know it. You just run up to out here, find out Char armies invading, run back. The bonus in this mission is going to be getting together 4 pieces of Kiln Testrabee's armor. So we will make sure to handle that. So for the most part, we're just going to be casually fighting our way through this stuff. Not much to worry about here. If things are actually threatening me, I'll pull for Great Justice, but until you see that 7 skill on cooldown, I don't consider this a very risky fight. It's not much to say here. Pretty much heroes, they're very much able to handle themselves, keep me alive. I've got Lion's Comfort here to extend my adrenaline as needed. Hopefully I don't need to talk about actual fight tactics here. So what I'm constantly doing is I'm keeping an eye on my mini-map here, making sure I don't over-pull. That'll become very important for later missions. I'll probably do some pulls that may be considered, shall we say, unwise. Oh my god, I'm literally fighting them on my own, Zei Ri. He summoned his spirits out of range and then did jack. I really should get Protective with Cal Eye off of him. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. You'd think I'd know better by now. The other sign that... Oh, do I want to pop... How many... Yeah, I've got a bunch of skill points. Why not? I've got my Legionnaire Summoning Crystal from Wayfarers. Highly Ooh, that's his sword for Canthan New Year. I like how he has a different sword with every festival. It's kind of cool. But yeah, as I mentioned before, output's absolutely ridiculous, especially if I pull for Great Justice, and it'll literally double my damage. Typically, any one of my 1 through 3 skills is going to hit for triple digits. So yeah, there's like a 92 there, 121 there, 115 there. Since I can, I'll go ahead and show this. I always recommend keep a longbow on your one of your weapon sets. You don't have to be a ranger to use it, but it's just so handy for pulling things. For me, because I'd like to be extra, I have a fiery stormbow. It's fiery because usually the Conjure I'm going to be running is a fire set, but because I'm fighting Char here, I run an ice set because I believe they're more vulnerable to cold damage. I can't remember specifically though. But yeah, this is an example. These Whiptail Devourers give a good example of where my build's not great. I don't. I have not slotted in a Cern scan when honestly I probably should slot it in, but I like Lion's Comfort better for the heal. Dwarven Stability could probably go, but it makes it less energy intensive on the build because the stance lasts so much longer as a result. It's part of why this build is also probably suboptimal. Version with this A version of this with a Cern scan would prefer a Zealous weapon, and you can't exactly be, there's no such thing as a Zealous, Fiery, and Icy Dragon Sword. So I choose not to run it. Yeah, up here, there's always going to be a boss by that door. You never know what it's going to be. I'm actually going to pull away from the boss. Yeah, and you want longbows and flatbows because, as I just showed, their strike range is actually out larger than the aggro circle, especially if you attack from a slope, because the height difference does actually matter for your range. I was hoping those guys were a bit lower so I could show how ridiculous it is. But yeah, we'll take out Ig Pelter here. So other things you may or may not notice, I always have interactable objects showing. It just makes things so much smoother. Alright, so that's that out of the way. But yeah, plan is I'm going to be going through every single one of these missions in order. Today is just the Great Northern Wall. Then we'll go hit Fort Rannoch, Sirmia, Nolani, all those. Some of these videos are going to be much quicker than others. Like, it is going to be pretty hilarious when we get to Augury Rock, for example. Or as Hell's Precipice is going to live up to the name. Alright, now that we're far enough down, you can see the wreckage over there and the wreckage over there. Each of those wreckage piles is part of the bonus. There are 4 pieces that we are going to need to dig up and find. I believe it's the Greaves, the Pauldrons. I forget what they all are. I think like a crest. Yeah. So we'll head over to the wreckage here. More Devourers. They never end. I may just grow impatient. Yeah, I'm growing impatient. Let's just speed this up. There's nothing that's threatening up ahead anyway. As you can see from both the sword from my Legionnaire and the lunar tokens dropping, it is Canthan New Year as I am recording this. I anticipate this should be coming out in around April. So yeah, there's the crest. So that's the first of the 4 items that I'm going to need for the bonus. And I'll explain what builds I'm taking as the party sizes get larger. So typically I'm gonna run Xandra, I'm gonna run Livia, I'm gonna run Zei Ri. Sometimes I'll swap Zei Ri out for Minion Master or for a damage dealing Mesmer. Both can be good and work in their spots. But for now, I kind of just prefer the general sustain from having an additional healer. So that's what I am going to key in on. Alright, so now we'll head down this way. The main reason I would take Master of Whispers with me, who's my minion master, so it keeps it easy, is he's also a dual paragon, so I get a lot of extra speed boost through him. So once we get up to 6 parties members, he starts coming in. Oh, it's going to be so much nicer. Alright, so the Grawl and the Gargoyles are having a bit of a war up down there. This is where that polling can really matter. So always make sure you've got a hotkey so you can quickly flag your heroes so they don't do anything stupid. They can kind of just pull these gargoyles out a little bit at a time. If my Legionnaire here ever overextends, I will just abandon him and run. So yeah, I'm going to back up slightly here. Alright, this isn't too overwhelming yet. Let's see, it's only 6. Yeah, 6 is fine. There we go, easy. Just some controlled polling to make sure we weren't fighting too many of these at once. Legionnaire certainly helps. I'm still working on my treasure hunter, so you will see me burn a lot of lockpicks as we go. 15% versus hexed foes. There's another shatter up there. So there's another pile of wreckage. And the last one's going to be up that way. Which is also where Klein or Kiln or however you say his name. Is it Kiln? Yeah, Kiln Testraby's body is. We're returning all of these to. Right. Lightning reflexes always feels like it lasts forever. But once it runs out, they are dead in the water. There's no sign of the last wreckage yet, but I assure you it will be there. But yeah, the main comp you're going to see from me is I'm basically using a non-merc Mesmer way. So I'll have my 2 Writs, I'll have 2 Necros, and then Raza along with 2 Mesmers as, well, Mesmers. Running a energy surge based backline with a bunch of spirits and minions serving as meek shields for them. And then myself as full on melee. Oh right, I forgot to... I'll do that a lot. I'll forget to cast Strength of Honor on myself. I've been literally playing with a handicap so far. But it's Great Northern Wall, so who really cares? There's no timers yet. Timers won't start until factions. Then that will be... Well, Thirsty River, I guess, exists. And I guess technically Augury Rock, but Augury Rock's such a long timer it hardly matters. Or any other ones? Yes, there's the last wreckage up there. You always head back to that third one I just picked up first and then head this way because this is where the bonus is. So it just saves you a lot of running. I don't remember if only one person needs to do this, but the important thing is if you're with more people, don't trigger the cutscene up ahead too early. What's his shield, actually? What shield is that? I don't know. Is that a Tengu shield? There we go, 151. That's more like it. So there we go. So now we have Kiln Testrabee's crest. We have his cuisse, however you pronounce that, his greaves, and his pauldron. And you can see there is the man himself. Alright, let's see what we get here. And blighters, worth nothing. I also have a DMCA character. Their very first identify off of an armor drop from a char gave me a damn Prodigy's insignia. I'm still salty about that one. So yeah, talk to the dude. He'll trigger his conversation, and then you'll turn in the armor pieces, and that will be a bonus. There we go. And we're done. So now that's out of the way. Oh, in the order I'll be doing this whole series while we're on a little bit of dead time here is I'm going to be going through Prophecies, then through Factions, then through Nightfall, then through Eye of the North. I don't plan to do any dungeons. I don't plan to do any of the Beyond content. So Winds of Change, you're not seeing that here. I'm not planning to run through that again. My other character I would trust through that, my Ritualist, is already progressed a little bit through there, and also I am not experiencing that again. Thank you very much. There's going to be no lead areas, so no Fissure of Woe, no Underworld, no Domain of Anguish, no Deep, no Urgaz, none of that stuff. No Slavers, since obviously it's a dungeon. It's going to be focused entirely on if you want to get your Guardian title. So, but I will be mentioning other titles here and there offhand, so maybe there's some extra info you'll get. For example, for your Cardo titles, you've got text mod and all that stuff. You can explore this entire area after you trigger the cutscene. You just have to fight your way through an army of char to do it. Which honestly would be pretty easy. But we ain't doing that right now. Let's speed this up a little bit since I've got a boss kill anyway. There we go. The only char we will fight through this entire run, and the only reason I have my Rebel Yell. And there they are, the Char Army. We're going to skip this. If you want to watch the cutscenes, you can play the game yourself. Although I will warn you, if you're on a Doom's Covenant character, you may want to skip some cutscenes. And also, all of this stuff that I've accomplished in this game, with the exception of the deep run I've did, was entirely solo with heroes. I'll fight these guys a little bit for the fun of it. Oh no, they're getting closer. Whatever will we do? If only there were some spirits to distract them. Yeah, we just keep running on our way. Technically, you probably shouldn't have fought the Devourers like I did. But I'm going to get 8 chitin fragments off of it. So totally worth it, right? Is it chitin or chitin? I've never actually known how to pronounce that. Let's see. Okay, it is chitin. I thought it was. Guess I should look up the name of the chest piece earlier too, see if I can get a pronunciation on that. Quis? Is that how it's supposed to be? I don't know what that accent above the I means. Oh well, I'll find out later. For now, we got to go report our findings to Captain Callahan. Now, back in the day when I ran my friends through this, I used to have just an immense amount of fun just attacking all those char that are chasing me and just killing them off when I'm level 20. All right, you guys have done well, so you can all help protect the veterans if you manage to make it. I'll just pick this up and be on my way. There, you can be backline. That's fine. And here we go. That's the Great Northern Wall. Very easy mission, not much too special. Makes sense given it's the very first mission of the game. Oh, I should probably mention how you get there. So, if you're in Ascalon City, all you have to do from War Master Titus is you just run up these stairs. You'll see a sign pointing you to the Great Northern Wall. Just head that way and it'll be right there. There'll be an entrance to it. You can see this little portal on my map. Always make sure you've got the mission map up. It's just so handy for navigation. But yeah, so we'll be back with the next video with Fort Rannoch. Hopefully these will be helpful to you, and see you next time.